Hi everybody, it is with thanks to English Electric Motorcycle Company that I have the Energica Eva Ribelle RS on loan. This is one hell of an electric bike. I've already done a first ride on it and I'm going to be doing multiple videos over the next 10 days as I have this bike, and I'll culminate that with a review. Basically there's things to this bike like the electronics and all the modes and stuff that if I explained it in the review, I'm either going to give you no information at all or it's going to be way too long. So the way I do my videos is anything like that, I'm going to do that as its own thing, and then when I do the review I can say blah 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 about the engines, motor, and if you want to know more, watch that video. Today's video, as I say, is going to be about the electronics on this bike. Because this is an electric bike and because you can change the power and the regen capabilities of this bike, it is very much like having a switch that goes single cylinder, V-twin, triple, inline four, because you can choose everything in there. If you don't know about the different types of engines, I have a video talking about the different types of engines. The long and the short of it is this: the more cylinders you have, the higher the bike is going to rev, and generally the less engine braking you're going to have. So a single cylinder doesn't rev much but gets a ton of engine braking. An inline four revs to the moon but it doesn't get that much engine braking. That is a generalization and is not always true, but generally it is. Okay, let's go and find a bit of shade so you can see the screen better. And then you'll also understand what I'm going to be changing as I go through the different modes. There is a switch on the back here, which is your mode switch, and if I press that once, on the left-hand side, which I adjust with the mode button by clicking left, you see it goes through the different modes. We've got Eco, Urban, Rain, and Sport. And then you select it with the button. That then brings you over to the middle one, which gives you ABS, and as you can see here I can select between ABS on and off. Obviously I want that on, so you click to get it on, so pressing the button on the back again. The right hand stick round robins through the regen, which is between off, low, which is kind of like a inline 4, medium, which is kind of like a big V twin, and high, which I'm told is, well, it's not like any motorcycle that exists. It's one of those systems that basically when the throttle is on, you're going, and when you take it off, it starts braking. So it's all, you don't really use the brakes much in that mode. I've never really ridden electric like that, and that's going to be the interesting one to try out. Press and hold it. There we go. That's taken us to the other menu, which is to do with traction control. Now, obviously, we can turn traction control off entirely in the middle there, or we can choose between levels 1 to 6. This is the kill switch, which works in an off, neutral and on position. But you can see it says pull the brake in. So in the neutral middle position, nothing's going to happen still. See, nothing happens. But, and if you try and press this alone, nothing happens. If you press and do this to that, and then that comes on. So that's now the bike armed, so you can ride it. So that's one thing to know. Also, to use the cruise control on this is the cruise control button. You have to be at the speed you want, press this button to set it. Then if you want to up or down the speed with a nudge, you press and hold the set button and nudge left for down and up for faster. The positioning of this button with your hand, if you can see, you can't reach. So you kind of have to do this half-handed, or even what I've been doing is setting my left hand. It's far easier. As with all cruise control systems, touching the throttle, getting on the brakes, stuff like that, deactivates it. For the headlights, it's push the switch forward for full beam, middle is normal, and pull back is your flasher. Indicators. Now I will say, today I had some problems where it said left indicator fault, and the indicator stopped working, and then it came back again, and then it went away again, and then it came back again. Could be a loose connection to do with the fact that this bike has had somewhat of a pretty hard tumble in the back of a van. Yeah, TV cruise, what can you say? This is showing a hazard light underneath the indicators, but I, for the life of me, don't know how to press and hold it. I was trying to work that earlier on and I couldn't do it. Right, press and hold it, that gives you your hazards. This is the switch for the heated grips, and that is basically it for the electronic buttons. When you're going along, however, you can have all sorts of information that comes up on this screen. You see you've got the kilowatts you're using, miles since last charge, last trip. You've got traction control settings down here, the temperature of the bike. You've got the power reserves here. Then click across again. See, it gives you a graph of your kilowatt usage, miles. There is so much information on that. You could not read that while you were going. The mode that we are currently in, or the one that I've been riding in, is, as you can see, Sport, ABS on, and with the regen on low. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it into off, and we're going to try it there. Now here's a little trick, because this is electric and it weighs 260 kilos. Press and hold the button while holding the front brake, and it says, look behind. Yes, this has reverse too. I've ridden one other electric bike with reverse, and I have to say, on that one it didn't make much sense. On this thing, when I tried to push it backwards, up something, it was impossible. It weighs an absolute ton. Right, then you press it again, and it gives you slow movement forward. You ready? Full speed! I have to say, for 30 grand, this doesn't seem that fast. There we go. Whoa, it's faster now! Okay, that is weird. Instantly, this feels like a different bike because there is no engine braking, no regen. Now, obviously, regenerative braking is the engine basically switches the polarity, as I understand it, and it means that it starts generating electricity by putting resistance through it through magnetic fields. Basically, it makes power by slowing you down. There is a little bit of resistance, but I think it's just friction more than anything. So you are relying on the brakes to stop, and you are also relying on the brakes to slow you down a hill. So we'll get up to 55 will do. Oh, alright, 60. Let off the throttle. And as you can see, it's slowly slowing down. Now, there's not necessarily any advantage or benefit to this when it comes to performance, as in like how you ride the bike, because some people prefer to have loads of engine braking and some people don't. It's just about your riding style. I would say that a medium amount is probably the best thing. As with all things, the middle ground tends to be the best place. Can I change this on the fly? Yes, I can. So low. Okay, so now we have a low amount of regen. And you can see that's coming down quite a lot faster now. Okay, medium. Then we're going to 55-ish and let off. Now there you go, you see that? That's actually feelable. I'm being pulled forward by the regen. And this is where I like it, because you can get off the throttle, it starts to take the speed off, and then you can get back on without needing to brake. So if you know you come into a corner, rather than say you're trail braking your way in, you regen your way in, and then accelerate back out, and it's a nice smooth transition. From braking, back on, braking, back on. That, high, go. Okay, now we've got high regen. Come up to 60 and let go. Okay, that is pretty strong. I mean, to be fair, I've felt some bikes with engine braking like that. I'm going to switch between two types of motorcycle here. I like it, but I'm used to riding this bike in the other modes, and I need to make comparisons on the power modes, so I'm going to have to switch that back. So, one extreme to another, eco mode, full throttle. This is maximum throttle. 54, 55. This is called National Speed Limit Safety. I don't want to lose my license mode. 55 miles an hour, flat out. However, if you're travelling somewhere and you don't need all that power, that has just made this throttle far less snatchy, although what it has done is very much changed the power delivery characteristics of the bike. which means if you go into a corner expecting it to be able to get on that throttle to pick it back out of the corner, and it's just going to go, yeah, nah. That's something you're going to have to get used to. So maybe around town and stuff, that's what this should be. Well, it's city mode, isn't it? Eco mode. You don't need to go that quick. You don't want it to be too leery. But let's try riding with it. It's like riding a 125. You just full throttle everywhere. Yeah, see there? I just wanted it to pull more and it stopped. But if you remember, it's like a different bike when it's in this mode. So actually, it's kind of like the regen allows you to select how many cylinders of an equivalent engine you'd like, and then the power mode side changes the cc of the engine. Because on the bottom end, this feels like a 125, and at the top end, it feels like 1,000. Okay, not up to the maximum speeds that thousands do. You know, this gives up around 125, I believe. But my God, does it get there quick. 0 to 60 on this bike is a claimed 2.6 seconds. Okay, so basically eco mode makes it feel like a 125. You may have noticed the screen is changing on its own. Or should we give you the... Oh, that was the indicator. That's something actually. It's quite easy to knock the indicator or the mode button instead of the other one. But yeah, you're going to get used to that in time. To be fair, this is actually still quite fun, because you don't have much power, so it's just line it up, open it up, line it up, open it up, which is basically what you do anyway. You just twist more. I don't know, there's something to it. It's kind of funny. I could ride this bike like this, to be fair, if I had to get somewhere and I wanted to get a lot of miles out of it. Enough of eco. Let's go to... Oh no, so there's eco and urban. So this is the city mode. Okay, that doesn't fit on... Hang on, let it put the new map on. It might have been because the throttle's still open. Yeah, there's... Yeah, okay, that was it. It's definitely a bit more poke there now. Okay, what's the big difference now? Okay, that's still very pokey, but it's definitely a lot less. This is much more usable you know, compared to the eco mode. Just don't know how the power's going to come in though. I've got to get used to it. Yeah, there's definitely got some boost there. Boost. But the question is, why does rain come between urban and sport? Okay, now we're in rain mode. Where the hell is that? Right, so it's very muted. It feels like the throttle is totally, I don't want to say delayed, but does not feel nearly as linearly connected. I'm guessing it's going to give you most of the power and the speed, but without the torque. Because, yeah. Eco is very low. The urban's is kind of in the middle, but it still feels a little bit like it's holding back. The full-on power from this bike is something else. And that is why we're going to put it back in that mode, because that is the best mode. If this was my bike, I would have it in Sport, ABS on, Regen Medium, and Traction Control 2. You just have to understand that you've got an absolute shed ton of power under your right hand and a mammoth amount of torque, and it's fine. I mean, yeah, okay, you can control how much traction control you get, and that will cover your butt a bit. If you turn the traction control off, this bike will wheelie. Apparently it'll only get so high and then it will come back down. The cruise control is worth mentioning here. It is adaptive. So in the sense of, if I get to a hill, it's going to increase the power to make sure I'm doing 30 miles an hour. Basically, this bike maintains the speed, whereas in some smaller electric bikes I've used, they maintain the power output. So when you actually get to a hill, it starts slowing down because that isn't enough power to get it up that hill. Also, if you go downhill with this with cruise control on, it uses the regen to slow your speed. Okay, let's try this now in the full regen mode. Come on, engage. There we go. So we're coming up to a corner. You really don't have to brake, actually. I mean, alright, let's see if I can get used to this. Oh no. Oh! That's good. That's no brakes. Okay, I'm starting to get used to this high regen mode. So this in theory gets you more miles, obviously, because it's much more aggressive. Although the question is, does it slowing you down over the distance more aggressively equal more power back versus losing more distance between what you get back and what it takes away in actually, but you know, this is that, you could never get a regen system to the point that it would just ride itself, because then you've got a perpetual motion machine, and that's just not a thing. Okay, should we call this one an end here, because it's probably overly long already. But that explains the different modes on this bike and the different regens and how it really can make it feel like a load of different types of engines from different, you know, combustion engine bikes, but in an electric. I mean, the funny thing is actually, if it was going to make it feel more like a petrol, it would have to take away probably quite a lot of the torque, or at least delay it quite a bit, because the instantaneous power you get from an electric, I've never felt that from a petrol quite the same. As I say, I'm making multiple videos on this bike, and you can probably see why I couldn't fit all of this into the review, but if someone's actually interested in this aspect of it, they can come back to this video and watch this particular one, or you might just watch all of them for the entertainment to find out. And if you do, I appreciate it. Please smack that like button, subscribe if you are new here. We are getting very close to 100k now. And also, if you want to help support this channel, please consider doing that through Patreon, links in my description. This is my full-time job, and it is only made possible by the support of the audience, so thank you to them hugely. Until the next one, bye bye.